Hi, friends. Welcome to Lotus in the Light. I tell you what, Spirit has been blowing up my mind today. Gosh, I had a really great meditation last night before bed. I did it actually in bed, and I thought I would fall asleep to it because it was an hour long, but I did not. And I love it. It was such a great meditation. And then I did another variation of it this morning in bed. I got up and came to my usual meditation space, and I said, "No, I want to do this laying down." Did not fall asleep in this one either, and just I think the two back to back, anchoring my before my rest time and after my rest time, like, oh, Spirit's just been blowing me up today with like insights. And I did a lot of driving today, and that tends to be where I get a lot of my insights as well, because it's kind of a meditative experience for me, especially when it's like it's too hot outside right now to like walk or, sit outside and ponder. Um, so a lot of things come to me when I'm driving, and I love that because I used to hate driving anywhere. It was like, how can I get to from here to where I'm going the quickest way? And now I just take my time, and I'm that car on the road that you're like, really? Could you go? Please go faster. And I used to literally be called a lead foot. So I wouldn't say I'm slow, but I'm not in a rush. Um, so anyway, had an interesting experience. I could probably record 10 videos right now on just all the stuff that's been going through my mind today. But what just happened, it just felt like I need to record about this, and I need to record about it right now. I can literally feel spirit energy rising in me right now in my chest area. So I'm getting some divine inspiration. I came home and I started talking to my husband, and he said, "Oh, I want to go out and check on my tomatoes." So he planted his first garden this year. We've never done it before, and he did a little raised garden in our backyard and has some tomato plants and some cucumbers in there. And we actually had a couple of early tomatoes that we had earlier last week. So now we're on a multi-day spin here of no tomatoes, but we didn't really expect any till later summer anyway. So those early ones were like a blessing. But we have a billion out there, but they're not ready yet, right? So he's like, "Let me just go see." He's like, "I really want a BLT. Let me go check." So he goes outside and checks, and I kind of walk outside with him, um, and he says, he looks and he's like, "Oh no!" He left the little metal like gate. He's got like, gate's not the right word. He's got this stuff that he wrapped around the raised garden to keep the animals from eating his his project, right? His tomatoes and cucumbers. And so he had opened it yesterday to show my granddaughters, and I guess he left it open. He's like, "Oh no!" And so he started looking around. He's looking around. It's like, "Okay, everything looks okay." And then he looks down, and he realized that all of those there was a bunch lower to the ground that got eaten up. And I wonder if it's that raccoon. If you haven't watched my videos recently, there's been a raccoon on the prowl, and so I think the raccoon got a nice meal out of it. And he was like instantly beating himself up. And he's probably might hate me. I'm gonna have to share this video with him before I post it, make sure he's okay. So if you're seeing it, he's okay with it. But he has historically really always been hard on himself. And quite honestly, that wasn't an energetic match for me because I was quite hard on myself. I know, there were times especially in my career, where if a presentation didn't go the way I thought it should go, or a project didn't come out, the outcome of a project wasn't the way that I thought it should be, I would spend hours beating myself up, sometimes days. I would like come home from work and just stew in it. What could I have done differently? What could I have said differently? How could I have created that differently? How could I have spent my time better on the project? Like I would just beat myself up over and over, not just work projects, but back then ministry projects and or Bible studies or whatever, or things I was doing with my kids that didn't turn out, the way that I wanted them to with my kids or whatever. It was just nonstop judgment on myself never being good enough. So we were a good energetic match for one another, but we also then created kind of this dynamic. Now that I have a better understanding of how energy works and that I was attracting that to me, my husband does some really awesome things. But most of the time, I experience the aspects of him that fall short because that had become my expectation of him. Because while he was beating himself up over things, I was also joining in that with him and beating him up for those things. So, a great example is right now, I am looking at my doors that go out to my back deck, and I'm seeing their metal doors because they're exterior doors, and I'm seeing this shade that comes down over the door that looks so janky because there's holes everywhere because it's been moved, and like it's off center. It's absolutely terrible. And every time I look at it, well, previously, until today, I'll say that until today, every time I would look at it, I would say, my next house, he's not doing a thing because he always does it half-assed and da 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 da, and I go on in my mind like I just want things done and I want it to look good. And I used to really judge myself harshly for that kind of perfectionist tendency. Like I used to be a perfectionist, then I tried to move away from being a perfectionist because I saw the negative aspects of it. Now what I'm realizing is that perfection, not the healthiest, but wanting things to look beautiful, there's nothing wrong with that. We want to be around, we want to feel good about the space that we're in. So when I look at that and it doesn't make me feel good, it doesn't look good. And so I don't want that in my next house, but like this expectation that when he does something, he's going to do it half-ass. I am creating that experience. He is mirroring for me what my expectation is, right? There's plenty of things he does that he does really well with almost perfection, right? Like when he cooks. Or even I've even seen him do work around houses where it does look perfect. In particular, we used to flip houses and he would do things beautifully. Get in my house, I get exactly what I expect because that's what I expect. In fact, I used to have a saying, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. And so that saying perpetuated this pattern of behavior with me and with him that I'm truly manifesting what energy I'm putting out there, which is an expectation that he's going to do a half-assed job. And so I was in that with him, but I'm starting to see him differently. And starting to see my beliefs about him differently. And I think he is too, but he still sometimes gets stuck in that old pattern of beating himself up when nothing needs to be anyone's fault. Literally, to get outside, we walked through this room. And when we walked in, I had been gone for hours. And when we walked in, this candle, I'm trying to get my finger to point at it, was still burning. As soon as I walked in, I smelled it and I'm like, oh, and he was like, oh my gosh. And I said, and I just blew it out. And he's like, what, are you trying to burn the house down? And I said, apparently. And that's it. And I laughed it off. It's over. It's done. And I will tell you this, had I burned the house down, had that burned the house down, I don't think I would have felt any guilt. I don't think I would have felt any shame. And I say, I don't think because even just thinking about it right now, I don't, because I don't want to burn my house down by any stretch. I'm not going to attempt to do that. I do not want that to happen. But what I'm saying is, I no longer believe that things happen to me and that they have to be someone's fault. If that would have happened, I believe it would have been a divine experience. It's just an experience. Let me just say that all things are divine. Everything is a divine experience. Everything is just an experience, and we have the choice to take something from it that helps us to expand and grow, or we have the choice to contract and suffer in it. And so I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I no longer see these experiences as something that I need to suffer from. I do see them as something I can extract joy from, or I can extract learning from it. Everything we experience in this life, we decide. We are consumers by design, right? We're creators by design, and we're consumers by design, because for everything that's created, there must be someone out there energetically, that's an energetic match to consume it. Okay. And that's just the grand design of the universe. But so as consumers, we extract from absolutely everything that we take in. We're extracting something, but here's the thing, we get to decide what we extract. So when you eat that food, if you decide it's bad for you, you can extract guilt and shame and sickness and whatever you want to extract from it, or you can extract joy from the deliciousness of it. You can extract whatever elements of physical health it might have to offer you. You can extract the belief that there's something good in it for you. You get to choose. When you consume media, you get to choose what media and if it makes you feel good or if it makes you feel bad. When you when you consume any experience in life, you are deciding what to extract from that experience. So when he got out there, so when I potentially burned the house down, I wasn't extracting anything negative. I was like, oh, I'm glad that wasn't my path today. I'll just say that. I'm glad that wasn't my path. But had it been, I would not feel any guilt or shame. I would have totally said, this is happening for me. This is happening for me. That's what I would have said. And I will find the goodness in it. We got outside. He, immediately starts beating himself up and cussing and this and that. And I said, hey, you know what? We all need to grieve loss. He had expectations about some fruit, some vegetables out there, right? Tomatoes, technically a fruit. He had some expectations and it didn't go his way. And he's grieving the loss of that. I know that seems silly because it seems so small and minor, but it's true. We have expectations. When those things don't pan out, we grieve. And that's the appropriate thing, is for him to feel his feelings. There's no shame in that. And I said this, and I literally looked at him. I said, wow, I'm excited about this for you. As he's cussing, I said, I'm excited about what you're going to learn from this. This is great. This is an experience for you. So feel your feelings and whatever. And then explore why what you're believing about these feelings. What is it that you're telling yourself that requires this to be a negative experience? Because what I see is that a creature of nature got fed last night. That, you know, God provides for all of his creatures, but that doesn't mean that sometimes it isn't going to be our food, right? So something got fed last night. We get to have this experience and dig into our feelings about it and our beliefs, helping us to explore and peel back the layer of onions on our beliefs. And then we get to choose what we take from it. We get to choose whether we learn and grow and expand, or whether we want to continue to suffer. Suffering's a choice. He can feel it, he can feel the loss and move on and release that energy, or he can stew in it. And that's suffering, right? If he wants to continue to beat himself up for hours or for days or however long he needs, that's okay. It's not a bad thing. There's nothing that's bad. It's not a bad thing. It's just unnecessary. He can choose joy in the moment, or he can choose suffering. So, and it's not just those polar options, right? There's a multitude of things he can choose. And so he'll choose what's going to match his energy now and his belief systems now. But he also has the choice to say, I don't think I want to believe that anymore. And he gets the chance to say, why is this bothering me? Is it bothering me because I messed up? I can never do anything right. I should have put that thing back around the garden. I'm stupid. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. Or is it some thought and idea of now this food has gone to waste, which whatever. Who knows what his beliefs are about it, but he gets a chance to examine them and choose whether he wants to continue with that narrative, or shed some false beliefs, some false self ideas, and let a little bit more of his true divine nature out, and give some space um, for the human experience without having to place blame for everything that happens. And like I said, I'm learning to see him in a whole new light. I mean, we've been married for almost 30 years. I've always known good and wonderful things about him. But as it relates to the idea of him beating up on himself, I know I also used to beat up on him too. I see that now, because I had these perfection expectations. But now I see that, like, me doing that to him was me being the reflection to him of what he was doing to himself. So I was being the reflection. That's what the world outside of us is the reflection. I was an energetic match, because what he was believing about himself, I was also believing about him. So it was an energetic match. I no longer believe that about him. So I'm not any longer going to be that reflection for him. But believe me, if he still wants to believe it, somebody else will be that reflection for him. There will be somebody else that'll tell him you don't do it good enough. He'll find a way to find it. That's how the universe works. You will attract it to you. You will tune into it wherever it is. Doesn't mean that I can't be a part of his life. I'm just not going to serve him in that way. He won't meet me in that way any longer, because I don't have that expectation of him any longer. I now see, for example, the beautiful meals that he creates. He is like an artist in the kitchen. He can take any food and make something really delicious with it. In fact, I'm learning through his cooking even. I've been challenged lately because he makes really wonderful, abundant meals. And when I say abundant, like a meat, sometimes two meats, three or four vegetables and bread and like all this stuff. And I get overwhelmed by it, because I'm like, this is me having an opportunity to look into my belief systems. I used to get mad about it and frustrated, because I felt like he was wasting food, because it's like, I can't eat all this. I want to enjoy this and maybe this and this, but now you've made this, and this. And now if I'm going to eat all of the things, I can only get like one bite of everything before I'm full, because there's just too much food. And so it was really frustrating, because I was like forcing myself to overeat. And I had to start peeling back the layers of the onion on that, because why? Why would I force myself to overeat? Well, because I was always trying to feed into him feeling good about himself. And I know that he has this hospitality gift, and he really loves feeding people, and so I knew it was kind of a love language for him. And just one of his love languages is words of affirmation. So like being able to appreciate and tell him how much I appreciate what he's made is important. So if I didn't eat it, I felt like it was not showing appreciation, but it's too much. And if I didn't eat it, it created waste, because I had this belief system about the limited nature of food on this planet, which I also believe now is a fallacy. And just there's it's multi-layered. Everything we do, every way we react about any circumstance is multi-layered. It's not one belief, it's probably 15 beliefs. And there's so many things there that was causing me to judge. Hmm, yeah, I was judging the wonderful meals I was getting from him and causing me to appreciate it less because I was feeling this pressure to either eat more or um not let it go to waste or whatever. And now I just let go of that. And now I just say, this is delicious. I'm only going to eat these three things, but I'm really excited about these three things. And that's what I do, and I appreciate. And if we have leftovers and, sometimes, it's just him and our niece who likes to usually eat with us most of the time. But if there's a bunch of leftovers, sometimes he can make a meal and take it to his sister. Sometimes it just goes to waste and I just have to be okay with that. And actually in my belief systems now, I really am okay with that here. I'm still learning how to fully integrate that into my experience. So sometimes I do get like, oh, we're creating waste. Sometimes that still comes out of me, but my belief systems are really different. That's a whole nother video. Anyway, I don't know where we went on this with this video. I just felt like I needed to share this experience that my husband had. This is the exciting part of the joy ride. This is the exciting part of literally living every moment and just finding your highest joy in the moment. And that's what I told my husband. And I said, you don't have to suffer in this. You don't have to keep beating yourself up, but it's exciting that you are, and do it for as long as you need to, because you get this chance to evaluate what it is that you're believing that's making you feel this way. And then you get to choose if you want to continue to feel that way. And then he said, I think I'm gonna go lay down and take a nap. I said, great idea, because that'll reset. That gives you a chance to get out of your thinking mind and those beliefs, and get back into your heart space if you choose. Now, if you wake right back up and get back into your thinking mind, not much good, but it's an opportunity. And then he changed his mind. He said, no, I'm gonna go, and he took a drive or whatever. And so I love that for him. I really do, and I am excited to see what he comes away with in this. But regardless, this is the journey. This is the fun stuff that you get to explore every day, whatever the day's got planned for you. And that's the other thing, is not holding tightly to the outcomes. Like he was holding tightly to some particular outcomes about that garden. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having expectations. You just got to hold loosely to them. Everything in the earth experience changes. Everything. So the tighter you hold to any outcome, the more you're keeping yourself from going with the flow and enjoying life. So loosen the grip, loosen the grip. If you've got issues with your hands or fingers, it might be spirit telling you that you're gripping too tight to something. So I don't know why I felt the need to say that. So there must be a message there for specifically for someone. And I think I'm gonna leave it right there. Oh, you know what? We gotta close with the spirit animal oracle after this. I mean, how could we not, right? Um, Maybe Spirit can let us know if it really was the raccoon or some other animal. Let's see. Spirit, let's give us a bow on this message. Two popped out. One of them might actually be the culprit here. Okay, so the first one that popped out is Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. I love that. I feel like that's what this whole message was about, right? Owl has this bird's eye view, and not just bird's eye view in the day, it's the night. The owl can see in the darkness. The owl can see, darkness isn't bad, but we have decided that it's bad because it's misunderstood, because it's when the light isn't on something, we tend to fear it, right? So the owl is there to it can see in the night, it can see in the darkness, it can see in that time um when we're feeling fear, what's really going on. And that's what these opportunities present. When you have a negative feeling, that's that dark space that we shouldn't be upset about. We should be like, yes, thank you for letting me feel this way so I can figure out what's going on, so I can dig into the wisdom of the owl and figure out what's really going on, shed some light on it, shed some moonlight on it, and release the false beliefs, the false narratives that I'm clinging to that's making me feel this way. It's such a wonderful opportunity. Darkness is a wonderful opportunity. And then the other one that popped out is Cat Spirit. And the reason I chuckle at this one is because there are some stray cats that the house behind us, she feeds. They don't come, they're not hers, they don't come in the house, but she feeds them. She'll bring food out every morning for them. And then they have babies in my shed and they just keep reproducing. And it's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but they keep the mice away. But anyway, I'm just wondering now if those tomatoes, I don't know if if cats will eat tomatoes or not, but maybe Spirit's telling us who ate the tomatoes. I don't know. But it says claim your independence. That's right. You get the choice to take from the situations that you're facing in life, the everyday situations, the little ones like this and the big ones that are the big major things. You get to choose what you take away from that and what kind of experience you're going to have. The world says you should have this kind of experience, but you can claim your independence and say, no, I don't need to see it that way. You want me to see it that way, but I don't need to see it that way. Okay, I don't even know which one to read. Let's see. 43 breaks down to a 7. And for me, that is a direct message from Spirit. And 13, love 13, because that is like the death card. This is about shedding the beliefs. This is about like letting that fall away. It breaks down to a 4, which is all about our foundation, the foundation of who we are. Your foundation is deeply rooted. Your higher consciousness is deeply rooted if you're willing to let all the layers of bullshit go. Okay. Owl Spirit came out first, and it's a direct message from Spirit. So I'm going to read that one. I'm going to say first, but it's probably the only one I'm going to read. Okay. You see clearly now. Owl Spirit arrives to remind you that the wisdom within you is informed by your keen senses and the wisdom within the consciousness we all share. You know when you know something. You know when you are just a truth just hits you and you're like, oh yeah, that's true. I know it here, and so I can know it here. That's that intuitive nature. That's that wisdom the owl has. Okay, sorry. Even in the darkest night, the owl sees clearly and is guided by every sense it has, including the first sense of intuition. Right now, your sensitivities are turbocharged and you are receiving messages from all directions. That's so funny. I literally said today has been like one message after another for me. And so I suspect maybe for you as well. The question is, are you tuned into it or are you tuned into something else? Owl Spirit reminds you to be wise and pay attention to what's between the lines. What is invisible to the naked eye? What cannot be heard with the ears? And what others may not be able to perceive. With all your senses aroused, you have much knowledge available to you. Clarity will come as you sit with all that you are sensing, allowing your intuition to guide you and understanding the whole and not just the parts. Let your wisdom arise and be your guide as you trust the acuity of all your senses. Intuition is real and can provide the clarity you need to understand your situation right now. Your relationship, your finances, your job, whatever it is, you can see the truth clearly now. I love it. Leave it right there. Thank you. Peace out.